driveway you want to go in is up here, you turn in up there, you don't go in back there.
Oh.
Because basically it's also a violation, there's just...
They've got all these things. Here's the best way. If you don't want to get a ticket for driving, don't drive.
That is the thing, you don't drive. I don't drive, I don't get tickets for driving, although I will be, unfortunately. I have to go to Old Fart School in a couple of months to get a driver's license. I'm at that age where you have to go in I only get a 2 years license if I did drive. I have to go in and prove that I can actually, intelligently, and that I'm not...
Well, there are reasons for that.
Because older people in the state of California have been known to cause serious accidents.
Yeah, like one of the people that hit me, they rear-ended me 4 times.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about. I can pass the written test, but I got to sit there and, in the classroom as somebody's explaining to me, and they'll say, "Mr. Washington, did you hear what we just said?" And I said, "Yes, you did right. Well, stop. You got it, the little thing like that, that's a stop sign, that's a yield sign, you have to pass the eye test, you got and they tell them, well, actually, I know that I have a photographic memory, I don't forget that stuff. I know everything is in the vehicle code book. But my big thing is passing parking, that's going to be solved because I'm getting a smart car. Well, actually, there's a reason for the smart car for us, too. It's because it's got awful hard to find parking for us sometimes in the things we go to.
Mm-hmm.
With the smart car, basically, we can get into these. Okay, what happens is everybody parks in a space and a half.
Well, I love having a big car to put things in, but sometimes it really limits your possibilities.
It limits our parking. When you have to park, like, we've gone to things that we've had to park like a mile, 2 miles away and walk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun when you're carrying equipment for like 14, 15 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you got all kinds of these places where the guy is basically, he's got his SUV, a big SUV, and it's hung out over the next spot. You can't get our car in there, and you can't get a normal car, but you can little tiny smart cars.
Yep.
Which we're going to call the Monty Mobile. I figure I can ask them at the driver's test. Do you want me just to drive it straight in? Do you want me to back up, or do you want me just to get out and pick the car and move it sideways? That's also they don't appreciate that.
They don't appreciate that humor.
Police officers do not appreciate any humor, and basically traffic officers appreciate humor the least. Don't smart off at a traffic officer. They'll find all sorts of violations for you if you're smart. Don't make a half. I mean, like another one guy they're making. I was watching television when video went viral. The guy sitting in his own sitting in his yard on his porch on a rocking chair. Basically, the traffic officers were they set up a speed trap when they were just grabbing people in front of his house. He basically called him a whole bunch of names, so they arrested him. And then the ACU got him off the hook because, God, you can say anything you want to in front of your own house, sitting on your property, and such, wasn't interfering anything. They charged him with the interference of this, they charged him with that, and then they got him. You know what they got him on?
What?
Well, on his own property.
Yeah, because sometimes when you piss them off, they're going to give you a ticket for something.
If they couldn't, they let him off on everything else, and then they couldn't get him on that one because did you spit on your on the grass? And he said, well, yes. And he said, well, there's a law prohibiting spitting on a public area.
Oh,
gosh. And they nitpick it. You could be nitpicked. This is the scary thing about the. It's the problem. If you're not living in a democracy, you know what you're going to be in trouble for. If you live in a democracy, you really don't have a clue of what you can be charged with. That's the scary part. That's the difference between a democracy and a dictatorship. In a dictatorship, everybody knows up front what you're going to get it for. In a democracy, okay, we're talking, for instance, if do you want to go back to those times under George Bush when you actually were working, when you could pay your bills, when you owned your home, when you had 2 cars in your garage and your family was happy? Or, yeah. Mm-hmm. If you're in that time, you don't worry as much about being ticketed for Mickey Mouse offenses. The smaller swimsuits, you could wear smaller swimsuits under a Republican administration you can under a Democratic administration. The internet was far more liberal under the Republicans than it is under the Democrats. Who's the liberals, who's the conservatives? Mm-hmm. And that's the whole trick. you want to do things, and when there are good times, officers aren't playing nannies. They're doing their job, which is funny, is why the crime rate is down at the moment, because they're not being reported. Because the officers, you have to have a police report. If there's no officer there to give a police report to, you don't get it reported as a crime.
Well, because even like, for example, if you lose your cell phone or your cell phone is stolen, you're supposed to file a police report. Did you know that? To get it replaced by the manufacturer if you've got one of those additional warranties?
Oh, I had a problem out here. Some kid heisted my cell phone. I called the cops like you're supposed to about it, and they
They're like, why are you bothering
why
us?
did you bother us for it? And I said, because they stole my $240 cell phone. It's against the law, and you're supposed to report it. They said, we got other things to do. And they said, just take care of it. Yeah, take care of it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I took care of the situation. They didn't want to know. They didn't want to be bothered. It wasn't, but those are laws that are on the books. You've got so many crazy laws. You're supposed to drive with your lights on all the time now.
Oh, I do anyway.
I know, but most cars have them on automatically. But basically, it's always been on the books about driving with your lights on.
Well, one of the things we always see is people doing what they call California stop, is you slow down, but technically you're supposed to come to a full stop.
Yeah.
And then continue.
Yeah, she's guilty of a certain violation, which I won't tell you about continually, so.
Which one would that be?
So it has to do about stopping. So it's not the California stop, it's just another one she's really talking
Which
about.
one?
You always stop in the intersection.
Oh, because I have slower reflexes.
Yeah, she'll block an intersection, I don't know how many intersections we blocked yesterday, but we blocked a lot.
I wasn't counting.
It just, in hard times, an officer ends up, like I said, being a nanny.
And you know what? That's got to be frustrating for them.
My father hated it. Because because the country is not, we're talking since the 1940s, we've had boom times and bad times. So the boom times, officers are being police officers, which is funny. An officer is more likely to do police officer's job when the economy is really good than he is when the economy is bad. Because when it's bad, he becomes more of the guy that basically responds to domestic disturbances, which officers do not like. Mm-hmm. And because then you basically can shout lots of nasty things at an officer and get away with it. Because the officer does not want to be there. The officer doesn't want to be there. And they're spending more time nitpicking the legal system to bring money in, which is why another reason crime rate is down. Like this is the first time in history crime rate has went down, because the officer, like I said, if an officer is not there to make a police report, you have no report of the crime.
That's right. And one of the first things they always ask you is, would you have a police report?
Yeah. Because we did have a piece of equipment stolen. We couldn't get a police report made on it. Which is a funny thing, wasn't it? Didn't want to be bothered. Did not want to be bothered with it. Did not want to be bothered with a massive felony. We're talking big felony. But that's the way it is. It's just, like I said, it's ridiculous. Good times they're police officers, bad times they're nannies. You'd think it would be the opposite.
I know.
That in bad times that they would be more enforcing their job, enforcing the rules than they are in the bad times. But I don't know. We're trying to give you some tips about things. The basic thing is, rule of thumb, don't do, if you try not to do something wrong, you're going to draw the attention of every officer in the great countryside, I can tell you that.
You try and go the speed limit.
If you obey all the laws, you're going to get in more trouble than those people. They said, but that guy basically, he must have went by at 100 miles an hour. Yes, but you're the one who stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just because somebody else is doing something wrong doesn't mean you can.
Mm-mm. Prima facie speed law in the state of California is a mandatory thing on the books of which virtually no officer pays any attention to. Mm-hmm. So you can almost always win court cases, but you lose the time to figure the case. But what happened is the fines are so high now, people are now going to court.
Yeah, because before they wouldn't go to court, they would just pay for it.
And now it's like $2,000 or $3,000.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Why no? So but that's it.
It's better off not to get stopped.
It's better off not to get
stopped.
stopped.
And here's another clue. They won't always tell you that. They'll say that the most tickets given out are probably for white cars.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why most white cars, or the most cars, or tickets given out to white cars is, what is the most, what car is the most frequent is a white car.
Yeah.
But if you ever had a red car or a yellow car,
They grab you.
it's like a ticket magnet.
A
Because
car,
you stand out, or one of those unusual colors that they can see from a mile away.
what do you think cars are done in silver today, or gunmetal? Because they don't stand out from up above, where actually most officers today get their information from the spies in the sky,
Yeah.
not from the ground.
So if you have a lime green car, because you think it looks really pretty,
They can see you from above.
which means anything you do is magnified.
And black doesn't help you on a highway, folks. And black stands out too. So basically, it's why gunmetal and silver and metallic are the favored cars of people, because you cannot spot them from up above. And they don't stand out on the road from officers on the ground. Black is out there. Black stands out like a sore thumb.
You think black does? Because there's a lot of black cars.
And black cars get a lot of tickets too.
Oh, do they?
It's basically the common colors. Basically the common colors: red, black, yellow, green. Common colors that they make the most of. Those get pounded on. But the popular color today is metallic, silver, and gunmetal.
Yeah.
They cannot really be seen from up above well.
Well, and then also you just kind of go into traffic. You're almost, I wouldn't say you're invisible, but you're not going to stand out like that bright yellow car
Yeah.
that's doing the same thing you're doing.
And that's another thing. If we end up this long piece, but a simple fact that when it says merge with the traffic, it does mean merge. It does not mean if you've got a rolling stop. If you stop at the thing, that's a takeover offense too, folks. And when you start that roll, you go. Even if you're driving on the side, you get on that thing. You do not stop at the top of the on-ramp, and you don't stop at the off-ramp. You roll. It says you must exit at X amount of speed.
Yeah, because if it wanted you to stop, there would be a stop sign.
That's right. When it gives you, it's like in California, they got the lights on them, and those lights turn green. You had better get off of that ramp. And it does not mean coming off like a turtle. So those are the laws. You don't realize it does say, like off-ramp speed 50 miles an hour. They don't mean off-ramp speed 100 miles an hour, and they don't mean off-ramp speed 10 miles an hour. When they say 50 miles an hour, they mean get off that ramp. When it says when it says 50 mile an hour entrance, to the freeway, they mean 50 mile an hour rep enters the freeway. Basically, if the traffic is stopped, they basically don't expect you to do 50 miles an hour. But if that traffic is moving, it says 50 mile an hour on ramp.
The challenging part is sometimes you can't see how fast they're going.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's technicality. This is an officer. What you don't know will get you into a lot of trouble. So next time, this is OCAM.
And this is not a spring chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And for more information,
Go to www.montebello.net on the net.
and wherever you're watching this, subscribe to us. Check out our news in 3D. And
And we got all kinds of, we got music now, we got avatars, we got cartoons, we got everything.
you're all over the
So
place.
please come and see actually what we're doing.
And thank you once again for over 40 million links.